The concept of HFA is twofold. First, like anything else, there's pure and there's applied. And I guess the beauty of HFA is in its applied. The pure is its theory. It's the understanding of where these behaviours come from, what the stress mechanism is, how a stress mechanism is switched on, what does that mean in the broad concept. But you don't have to go there if you don't want to. There's a very practical way that HFA can be applied without getting spiritual. The HFA is, if nothing else, is a practical clinical model that is being devised for anyone to be able to use quickly and efficiently without, you know, Kent used to talk, I think, in his homeopathic philosophy. He says something like, you know, it takes about 10 or so years before you get out of novice stage, and 20 years before you're in that kind of average stage. And the thing with HFA, I think, is that it is so practical that you can reach that average stage in 2 years, not 20. And you can reach that master or very good stage, excellent stage, in not 50 years, but in 5. And the reason for it is because it takes the speculation out of the equation. With conventional homeopathy, classical homeopathy, in all of its models, regardless of whether we're talking about Kent or contemporary times, it is based on a subjective understanding of knowing the subtext of what people are trying to say. It's about understanding the almost subtext of the personality that somebody is trying to present. It's this constant idea that the more you peel off, the greater to the core that everything becomes. And I'm not so sure that that philosophy is right. In fact, I'm sure that that philosophy is wrong. It's like a snowball rolling downhill. It gathers wisdom, and personality gathers itself as it rolls through life. And the more it rolls through life, and the longer that it rolls through life, the wiser and the stronger and the more knowledge we amass. And so this snowball becomes huge, or a wave on the sea. But if you reverse that and we see it kind of go back up the hill, or a wave go back out to sea, its origins are actually minute. And so in the end, what we unravel ends up with nothing, because life is an accumulation. There is nothing at the central core that is deep and meaningful and perfect. And we've got to get back to that. In fact, our perfection and our meaning is what grows from the life that we live. And so to look for the underneath, I think, is a complete waste of time. And even if it was perfect, that's not what we're looking for in a case anyway, because the case is a problem. So we're looking for the imperfect. What HFA does is that it takes all of the "I've got a feeling that they're" out. You know, this is this whole idea that it takes you 20, 30, 40, 50 years to fully be able to understand and recognise the difference between a Costigan patient versus a Fossack patient. But that is completely subjective. And what HFA does is that it takes in the force of the face. We said before in one of the talks that facial analysis is twofold. The first thing that it does is that it shows you the personality, the essence, the energy of the force that creates it, because the creation can't be separate from the creator. And so facial features will be formed in an outward motion form, like a psoric form, or in a more psychosis sort of circular energy form, or the same with the syphilitic, and so on. The point is if you can read the creation, then you can understand the force that lies in. If you can get the force that lies within, then you can get the remedy to match it. The whole thing of what we're trying to do when we're trying to match up a remedy to a miasm is that the miasm is meant to be the driving force. It is the way. I disagree with Hahnemann that it's actually a disease. I think it's a reaction to disease. This is our way of protecting ourselves. It isn't sora that's on the surface, it's our survival instinct or immune system of sora that pushes out to the surface. Now, what we can do with the face is that we can figure out what energy is dominant in the patient that's sitting in front of us, and we can match that to the dominant energy of the remedy that we are just about to give. There's no use giving mercury or aurum or what is conserving energy type of remedies into a patient whose whole immune response is to push to the surface. There you'll get a negative reaction or a homeopathic aggravation. But if there's some way that you can tell beforehand what the energy of that patient is and then match it up to the remedy, then you're already years ahead. And that's what HFA does. You only need the generals of the case. You don't have to look for something hidden and mysterious in a patient's life, because this is the law. Homeopathy, if nothing else, tells you about the law of action and reaction. And action is always reaction is always equal and opposite to the action. And so you can't be looking for a subtle stress when you've got a severe pathology. A severe pathology means that there's a severe stress. And vice versa. If somebody's coming into your clinic with twitching eyelids and that's their only problem, then there's no use going through looking for some sort of, where is the self-hatred, where is the loathing, where's the misanthropy? If all they have is a minute symptom in the grand scheme of things, then the stress is equally minute. That's equal and opposite reaction. That's action matching reaction. And it's silly to look at it in any other way. Action is always equal to reaction. It's